we want to touch on the writers' strike. I don't know how much we have to say about it, but I know a lot of people have been asking us to talk about it, or at least just to give an update on what exactly it is, what exactly is happening. So we're going to run through this. Everything I'm about to say is not my own original thought. I basically just kind of took a news article that explained it way better than I ever could and wrote it down. So the Writers Guild of America last Tuesday, May 2nd, unanimously voted to call a strike. This is going to affect a lot of the nightly shows: Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, Seth Rogen. SNL has been delayed indefinitely. Cobra Kai has also halted writing. So in short, around 12,000 film and television writers represented by the Writers Guild of America are striking after failing to reach an agreement with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. The Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers is an association that represents a huge production companies such as the WGA, like Netflix, Amazon, Apple, Disney, Discovery, NBC. So basically, some of their demands are including higher minimum compensation and addressing the use of mini rooms, which is a practice where streamers will shrink the number of writers that would typically be in a writer's room and hire them for short-term work, resulting in lower wages and shorter contracts. One anonymous source says, basically, in short, there's too much work and not enough pay. Gentlemen, is there anything we want to touch on this? Tyler, I know you've tweeted a couple of times about it, I think so. I'm sure there's things.
Another one was like, I think this is recently, like yesterday or whatever, the Duffer Brothers came out in support of the strike as well and said like Stranger Things being held off, which like it's weird because like obviously all things being written are important, but I feel like that's like on the bigger scale where people are like, shit, like this, like let's really get this thing going, because like I really want Stranger Things season 5 because it took us such a long gap last time, and they're like, we don't care, we'll take an even longer gap, like we'll wait till these kids are 35 years old before we're gonna make them be seniors in high school. But yeah, it's one of those things that it's not good. Like the strike isn't good for either sides. Like obviously, like I support the writers and I hope they get what they want and they get their higher wages, because like this isn't even a flex, but I think all three of us on this call make substantially more money than writers, and that's not because we're loaded and wealthy. That's because writers is one of like the lowest paying professions in the world, basically. Like they make just barely any money. Like they came out that the guy who wrote The Bear, which won so many Oscars or Emmys last year and awards last year, said basically like he had a negative bank account. He basically like had to dive like into negative balance just to buy like a bow tie to be able to go to the award ceremony. So like writers really don't make much money at all, and beyond that they don't get consistent streams of income. So it's just like a very tough career. So and the thing is, like, none of these would be possible without writers. Like so many times, like what's the biggest complaint you have about a movie or a show? It's like the writing just sucked, and it's like you need good writers and writers that are working effectively in the writers' rooms for TV shows, or just like writers in general for movies. So it sucks for both sides, because obviously they're not getting paid right now and they can't work right now. And like literally when you're during a strike, you can't like just be like, well, I'm just not going to strike and I'm going to go write on the side, because then you get like banned from the Writers Guild and stuff. So like the writers not going to be able to get paid until this gets done. Movie side, nothing's going to get made. And at the end of the day, they just need to come to agreement. And I think the big thing is, like, obviously the world has changed so much with streaming services, and I don't think their contracts and bargaining agreements have caught up to the real world in terms of what is currently going on. Because I think probably all the writing contracts right now are dealing with, you write something and then you get paid extra for every time it's like played on television. But like, what about streaming services and all that? So there's just a lot that have to go through. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but yeah. Hopefully it gets done soon.
There's a writer on TikTok, and I see his videos every.
I think I know who you're talking about. I love that guy.
Yeah. He's written a bunch of he's a comedic writer, I believe. He's like King of the Hill and stuff like that. I think I can't remember exactly, but he always does like, how much does he get in residuals? And it's like 23 cents for an episode or something. Like sometimes bigger shows make like $13 or something, if I'm not mistaken. But it's just absurd that that's like the only bit he's getting in residuals. Yeah, completely agree with you, Tyler. Just the writing's one of the most important parts of a movie, and it's absurd how little undercompensated they are. I think this is a good thing for a lot of reasons. Hopefully, the writers do get higher pay. And you know, hopefully we don't just overload the market with a bunch of just crappy scripts because writers are just writing because they're not getting paid. They're just writing to get something done. You know, hopefully this helps in a little bit there. Last time we had a writer's strike, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen happened. So figure it the fuck out, pay these writers. I think they want like I saw a tweet. It's like they want like a 5% raise. It's absurd how little they're asking and how hard it is to get that. But yeah, just figure it the fuck out. Also, like Blade's production was halted. I believe Fantastic Four's production's halted. So you fucking Marvel nerds, pay these damn writers. They make trillions of dollars. Just pay these people. Like it can't be that.
And like not only just like Transformers, like think of shows that everyone beloved and then sucked. Like
it's
Lost,
mostly TV
Prison
shows.
Break. Like think of all these shows that literally like people called like the greatest shows of all time. And they're like, then something randomly happened and it just started sucking. It's like if you look historically, like it's timeline overlaps exactly with that. But
it is mostly TV shows that get hit with it,
right? Because movies, like I don't know, like I feel like they have a longer.
Movie scripts obviously don't take as long because they're not as long. Like that completely makes sense. So like you can do you can do production on things, but you can't rewrite things. Like I think Deadpool 3, they said like they're going to continue production, but they're not doing anything with writing, which TV shows, I don't think you really can do that because you're writing as the show goes.
Yeah. Go
ahead,
with
George. The Deadpool thing, I saw that news too, saying like Ryan Reynolds isn't allowed to like make changes to the script now. Why is he not allowed?
I think
he's in the Writers Guild. Once you get in the Writers Guild by getting like basically like a writing credit. Like once you get one of those like on your IMDb, like you're eligible to join the guild, and I think pretty much everyone does. It's like kind of like a status thing to get in. It's like a big career step, like a big milestone to be able to get in. But yeah, like James Gunn, like what I thought was cool is like he paused like writing stuff for his movies, and it's like when you're just like one guy, like because he's like for like Superman, like I know it said like the initial script's done, but he doesn't have the official script done. Like I'm sure like if he wasn't on strike, he'd still be rewriting and touching it up. But like when you're the writer and director, like you could be like, you know, you'd think, oh, there's a strike going on, but like this is all my thing. Like I'm not really counting on anyone else. I can just keep working on this. But he's, you know, in solidarity, not writing anything on it and just working on other stuff. Which for him at least, I'm sure he has like 7 billion other things he could be doing. But yeah, it's weird that some productions are going on, and basically like I think Rings of Power said they're going to go on, and like a lot of people are commenting
I saw that. I tweeted about that and I was like, yeah, this is how you want to follow up season 1 or whatever, because they're like, we're going to continue.
It's like 99.99% of scripts are going to get rewritten while they're being in production, unless you're like Aaron Sorkin or something that can like write a script and it's just perfect as is. But like once you finish a script, like there's so much rewrites that go on. So the fact that production's still going on these projects without being allowed to rewrite is definitely like a red flag for whatever productions are going to be coming out that are filmed and finished while this strike is going on. Because I can't remember how long the one from 15 years ago or whatever went, but I don't think this is going to be solved anytime soonish. And like the whole AI thing is just like another curveball thrown in here, and it's a weird time.
Yeah, I saw production on the Batman Part 2 is still going on. Matt Reeves isn't like halting that because of the writer's strike. So that doesn't.
It is interesting, like how they pick and choose, like where they're at in production, and I think just everyone should stop. And then I feel
maybe my assumption is like Matt Reeves isn't making any more changes to the script, and he's like as confident as hell about that. And if he does, he'll just wait and to reshoot those scenes, but by the end of the strike, however long that takes.
But this is my worry in the sense that I feel like, it won't happen with the Batman too, let's be honest. But the only reason I bring up Transformers Revenge of the Fallen is that because that was a movie that Michael Bay didn't halt production for. And he was like, we're just going to make it with the script that ass is. And it was ass. So, you know, some of these could be ass. Also, Blade is not getting made. That movie's just never
that's a cursed movie for sure.
That movie is cursed. Every bit of news that comes out about that movie is just as negative as can be.
Like it's but when all said and done, Blade is gonna have a story that rivals The Flash. Like in terms of just like delay. It's like, did you know that this movie started being written in like 2017? It's like 2028 when it comes out.
Yeah. Oh my god.
All right, we'll wrap up the writers.
Get your bag, writers. Go writers.
Facts. Get your bag. Do your thing.
Team writers.